अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय, समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशनल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय, इस्कॉन इनकॉर्पोरेशन डे की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंगा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखावितंश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So today is the day when Srila Prabhupada, it's according to Tithi, because that was 11th of July 1966. 13 July? Okay, 11th Prabhupada, it's written. 13 maybe it went to the court, but 11th everyone signed. So that's what Leelamrita says. So 55 years ago, उमर 55 की दिल बचपन का, ISKCON will attain the age of 10,000 years, but the heart will always remain like a child, enthusiastic. So Prabhupada's followers are always enthusiastic. And Prabhupada said that my books will be distributed by the enthusiasm of my devotees. So even though the organization is 55 years old, you can see the enthusiasm is only growing. It's not coming down. Unlike other organizations or material organizations. Why? Because as Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Golokera Premadhan Harinam Sankirtan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he brought Harinam Sankirtan from where? Golok Vrindavan. As we have discussed before, the Harinam is not coming even from Vaikuntha, it is coming from Golok Vrindavan. And who started this organization, this Hare Krishna movement? None other than the Lord, the Supreme Lord himself, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's a prediction this next 10,000 years, this movement will go on. It's like, nowadays you see a lot of cloud bursting happening. Cloud burst happening. recently in Himachal and in Jammu. I saw one video, 100 meters long road on the mountains. Entire mountain just came down. Entire road, 100 meters road long, just came down, tumbling down. So when that's called flash floods. So when there is sudden cloud burst, there's flash floods. Within a flash, you will see nothing was there, and suddenly, like millions of tons of, millions of gallons of water is just flowing, and what you can see, buildings, the broken buildings, the vehicles, everything is flowing. Who can stop that flow? Nobody. At least nobody in this world. You can see the videos out there. There was someone who was taking a video from their balcony. Not in India, somewhere else, and nothing is there. And within 3 to 4 seconds, it's like the water of Pralay. The devastating water comes down, and everything, the 2-story, 3 stories buildings, everything is just gone, vanished. If we just see the videos, we may faint. What about those people who have seen tsunamis? You can go and ask people in Chennai, people in Singapore, and where? Sri Lanka. They have seen tsunami. 30 meters high, ocean wave is coming towards you. What can we do other than chanting Hare Krishna? So, and this is nothing in front of the wave which is coming of Kali Yuga. When Kali is pushing, it's all, it's nothing that Kali has its own power, it's Krishna's power only. The destructing power of the Lord. Kali is pushing that destruction, everything towards the destruction. And such a huge force, and there comes Lord Gauranga, stands right, in front of force in the opposite direction. What can that force do? Nothing. Nothing that Kali force can do anything to Lord Gauranga or his movement. Srila Prabhupada very empathetically in 1974 or 75 he is giving one lecture and he is telling all the devotees that you go on preaching. And like 5,000 years back, when the demons were coming to Vrindavan, sent by Kamsa, every demon was killed and destroyed by Krishna. Anyone who tries to stop this mission will be destroyed by Krishna. You can hear his voice, thundering voice. So that gives faith, that gives hope, that we can go on preaching. And to continue that mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Mahaprabhu, see how it evolved. And what are the major milestones? Lord came and he started Sankirtan movement. His simple formula was, let's chant and dance. And after, hours of dancing, we take some prasad, again chant, again dance. Whoever is interested will join, whoever is not interested, it's all right. That was Mahaprabhu's style of preaching. Even, it is said that Mahaprabhu discussed Siddhanta with few devotees, Prakashananda Saraswati and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. If you see, but that Siddhanta is very basic Siddhanta. He didn't discuss with anyone the high Siddhanta because Mahaprabhu said Kali Yuga people cannot understand that. And then comes the next milestone. The 6 Goswamis. So what they did? They took that Sankirtan movement and transcribed it into the books. They were instructed by Mahaprabhu to write the books. So that's why the Sankirtan movement is now transcribed into books. And Jiva Goswami sent the books out. And obviously, we also know that all the sthalis, Leela sthalis, the pastimes, where Lord enacted pastimes, those places were, excavated by six Goswamis. And then Jiva Goswami, he prepares another milestone. These three devotees, Narottam Das Thakur, Shamananda Pandit and Srinivas Acharya. The next milestone. What has been done? See, Mahaprabhu gave the movement. And Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, other Goswamis, they wrote in the books. Now this books has to be distributed. So books went to Bengal. And then, for some time, the movement was like, it became little lull. The period was little lull. It went down. That time all our acharyas were doing more of their bhajan. And then comes the major milestone, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. By that time, Gaudiya Vaishnavism, if you read when Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that when he saw Gaudiya Vaishnavism, what was remaining? People in the world thought Gaudiya Vaishnavism is just sentimental in dancing and having illicit relation with others' wives. That was Gaudiya Vaishnavism definition. That became the definition of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. That was where it came down. It's not that Gaudiya Vaishnavism philosophy came down. It's how Sahajyas they practice. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur took from there. And what he did? He wrote books, the foundation. He was the one to give vision. He started cleaning. But he said, how much I can clean? So he prayed to Lord Jagannath, send me your ray. And the ray of Vishnu, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, appears. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote books to make the foundation. He is the Acharya who gave blueprint. The first blueprint of an organization. He told to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur that even though organization has its own faults, that's why organization is a necessary evil. Why? Because when the organization comes, people tend to become more materialistic. Things are more power oriented. That's how organizations works in this world. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur told to Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur that even though organization has its own fault, but you cannot preach the glories of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya without forming an organization. Because government is not doing anything and you need an organized effort. Our acharyas, they did, but alone you cannot preach to all over the world. So he told to Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, form an organization. And that is where the seed was given. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur started Gaudiya Math. 64 Gaudiya Maths in India. He tried. He sent disciples to preach to West. At that time, West means Europe. America was not much in the counting. It was Europe. So he sent to Germany, he sent to England. There were many major contributions from Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. Again, books, more cleaning. Bhaktivinoda Thakur cleaned Upper Sampradayas, and Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur also more cleaning, further deep cleaning, and giving a structure. He was the one who started the concept of GBC. It was Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur who started GBC. This terminology came from Indian Railways. Indian Railways earlier had this concept of GBC. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur took from there and he did. And he gave a modern shape. He modernized. He traveled. He was the first acharya to travel in car. Wear a coat and a hat. He didn't go out of country, so he didn't travel in the flight. He took all these dioramas you see, he started preaching. He started printing press. He started writing magazines. periodicals, articles, books. So things are quite, shaping up. And then Srila Prabhupada comes. The major milestone for next 10,000 years. 10,000 years started from when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, but in this period of golden period, in the black and dark, age of Kali, there's a golden spot for 10,000 years. And Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada is a major milestone in that journey. Who took everything from Acharyas. Now, he's alone. He struggles in India. And you see and you read the struggles, especially in the first volume of Leela Amrita. His struggles when he was alone, when he was in, Mathura, Delhi he was doing. No money to eat, no proper clothes to wear, no place to stay. And that's why His Holiness Satsarup Maharaj gives such an apt title, crying in wilderness. Nobody. That's what Krishna wanted Prabhupada to go. To set an example. That even if everything is finished, still you have holy name. Holy name is there, the instructions of Lord are there, the instruction of spiritual master still there. And then Prabhupada goes to America and then he starts. So Prabhupada writes books, he erects temple, 108 temples, installed deities, trained disciples very systematically, created a worldwide organization. And we know the glories, unending glories of Srila Prabhupada. And that's now spreading far and wide and also deeper in the villages. Now ISKCON is preaching not only in villages but also in the tribal areas. Not only to the youths, but now every section of the society is getting covered. So it is becoming, the penetration is now much more deeper. And it has to go. And gradually what will happen? The quality will keep improving, which has to increase, and that quality will help upgrade the consciousness of the people. So this day, today, as per our Vaishnava calendar, marks the day when Srila Prabhupada actually registered the ISKCON society. So I'll just read some part of Leela Amrita and then we'll discuss. Shri Radha Ras Bihari Sitaram Lakshmana Gaur Nidai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is 10th July 1966. We shall call our society ISKCON. Prabhupada had laughed playfully when he first coined the acronym. So this is the first time Prabhupada said ISKCON. It just came. So he had, nobody is there. He has no money to pay rent. And Prabhupada vision that we'll read. He had initiated legal work of incorporation that spring while still living on the Bowery, but even before its legal beginning, he had been talking about his International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And so it has appeared in letters to India and in the Village Voice. A friend had suggested a title that would sound more familiar to the Westerners, International Society for God Consciousness. Now we should understand this, very important. Prabhupada says, but Prabhupada insisted, Krishna consciousness. God was a vague term, whereas Krishna was exact and scientific. God consciousness was spiritually weaker, less personal. And if Westerners didn't know that Krishna was God, then the International Society for Krishna Consciousness would tell them by spreading his glories in every town and village. Look at the confidence Prabhupada has. And this comes from the faith on Krishna and faith on Guru. Sometimes we need to, twist a little bit. But it should not happen that we twist in a way because we don't have faith. We have faith, but things we have to twist just to get the work done. But here Prabhupada is not ready to twist. So that kind of faith we need in the words of spiritual master and in the words of Krishna. Prabhupada, when he was in his Grihastha ashram, so he had his house on ground floor, and first floor was vacant. So he had given to Gaudiya Math devotees to preach. They can open a center, anyway empty, to preach. Now Prabhupada comes from office around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the evening. He does not want to go in the house, he wants to chant. He cannot go up because some class was going on, it will get disturbed. So he sat on the stairs. Ground floor, first floor, and from outside there were stairs, so he was sitting there and chanting his round. One of his godbrother came and he started talking to Srila Prabhupada. And he was saying, Abhay Babu, what will happen? Now our Guru Maharaj is not there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted Prithvi te yache yata nagar adi gram sarvatra prachar hoy be moro naam. He has predicted. How will it happen? Only hope was our Guru Maharaj. Now he is no more. So who will take care? How will it happen? So Prabhupada could clearly see that faith is already shaken. To keep faith in Krishna's words, it needs a lot of surrender, a lot of courage. How many of us we have to time and again check whether my faith is there on Krishna's words? That does not mean that if faith is there, then we don't act or we do not do anything. But we act as Arjuna acted. It's not easy. Yeah? Suppose there's a fire all around you, complete fire, the forest fire, and we all are in middle of that fire. And one of our friend is telling, all of you just close your eyes and lie down. I'll take care. How many of us will be ready to do that? When Krishna told all these cowherd boys, when this forest fire was there, and they all lie down, slept. And Krishna just drank all the fire. Do we have that much of faith on Krishna or his words? That's called devotee. So Prabhupada saw that faith is, many of the devotees have lost hope. So Prabhupada makes this point. Prabhupada said, he says, any foolish person who has complete, unflinching faith on the dust of the lotus feet of his spiritual master, he will convert this prediction into reality. He will make it a reality. And he will preach the glories of Lord Chaitanya every town and village. So what is the condition? Even a fool who has faith on the dust of the lotus feet of his own spiritual master, he will do that. And that devotee was a little bit, becoming like, okay, am I the same person? And Prabhupada told him, but you are not that. Because that faith is shaken. And Prabhupada, when he went to America, what was with him? A pair of kartal, 200 sets of first volume of Bhagavatam, first canto, not first volume, first canto. Holy name. And unlimited, unflinching faith on the words of his own Guru Maharaj. Otherwise, the struggle which he underwent, a mortal cannot go through it. It's not for ordinary people. Only who has developed that faith can do that. So Prabhupada's faith is unshaken. No. If people do not know who is Krishna, we will tell him who is Krishna. So many times Prabhupada was told, change your attire, change your eating habits. Prabhupada said, I have not come here to learn. I have come here to teach. So many a times we have situation in front of us whether we have to compromise. So how much to compromise, that depends on the individual also. Yes, Prabhupada has said time, place and circumstance is keeping the principle intact. But we should not compromise the faith, we should not compromise the principles. Prabhupada, I was just hearing this series of lectures given in Kartik Vrindavan 1972 Nectar of Devotion series. Wonderful lectures, all of you must hear, wonderful lectures. Prabhupada is talking a deeper philosophy, and it's all devotees. It's the month of Kartik, it's going in a different direction. And Prabhupada says there about faith. He says, we are not here to please the public. We are putting all the endeavors to please our predecessor acharyas. Many a times we forget that. We tend to please ourselves. We tend to please our followers because of our own material conditionings. We forget that we are out there preaching to please the predecessor acharyas. Even if instead of 100 devotees, we make 50 devotees without compromising, that's much better. Otherwise it will dilute. And once the movement is diluted, things will deteriorate further. That's what happened when Bhaktivinoda Thakur started. So all these Sahajyas and so many upper Sampradas came. And what became? Gaudiya Vaishnava was like the people who are just into sentimental kirtans and some drugs and having illicit affairs. That was Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Only few acharyas, genuine acharyas, who were sitting and doing bhajan. So that faith we can see in these words. Krishna consciousness was Prabhupada's own rendering of a phrase from Srila Rupa Goswami's Padyavali written in 16th century. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita, to be absorbed in mellow taste of executing devotional service to Krishna. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita. Bhagavan Bhakti nahi, Ishwara Bhakti nahi, Krishna Bhakti. Very specific. So from this, the word came Krishna consciousness. And from where the word came, International Society, also from Rupa Goswami, who wanted to start Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha. He started, he had this idea. Jiva Goswami tried to start, things worked for some time, again went down. And that's why League of Devotees. It came all, same concept, Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha, International Society. And Krishna Bhakti Bhavita, Rasa Bhavita, for Krishna consciousness. So this ISKCON word is also not from material world. It's coming from Rupa Goswami. The concept is coming from there. It's not out of the blue, Prabhupada sitting and suddenly he said ISKCON. So both these words are coming from Rupa Goswami. But to register ISKCON legally as a non-profit tax-exempt religion required money and a lawyer. Karl Jens had already gained some experience in forming religious, political and social welfare groups, and when he met Prabhupada on the Bowery, he had agreed to help. He had contacted his lawyer Stephen Goldsmith. Stephen Goldsmith, a young Jewish lawyer with a wife and 2 children and an office on Park Avenue, was interested in spiritual movements. When Karl told him about Prabhupada's plans, he was immediately fascinated by the idea of setting up a religious corporation for an Indian Swami. He visited Prabhupada at 26 2nd Avenue and they discussed incorporation, tax exemption, Prabhupada's immigration status and Krishna consciousness. Mr. Goldsmith visited Prabhupada several times. Once he brought his children who liked the soup the Swami cooked. He began attending the evening lectures where he was often the only non-hippie member of the congregation. One evening, having completed all the legal groundwork and being ready to complete the procedures for incorporation, Mr. Goldsmith came to Prabhupada's lecture and kirtan to get signature from the trustees of new society. And now, They say, na, dil tham ke baithiye. So now you see what will happen, who are the trustees and how they are formed. It's such amazing. Only Prabhupada could do that. That's why it's only he could lead them. All hippies, and you're making trustees of an international organization. There's a foundation. July 11th, Prabhupada is lecturing, so lecture is going on. Mr. Goldsmith, wearing slacks and a shirt and tie, sits on the floor near the door, listening earnestly to the lecture. Despite the distracting noises from the neighborhood, Prabhupada has been explaining how scholars mislead innocent people with non-devotional interpretations of the Bhagavad Gita. So, every acharya came and they cleaned. They had this, what do you call, DVD, disc. We put in the computer, antivirus. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur cleaned, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. Prabhupada's cleaning was this. This non-devotees giving interpretations on Bhagavad Gita. And now it's a different type of, now non-devotees don't even bother about Bhagavad Gita. What they'll give interpretations. Now they are in different worlds, so it's a different type of cleaning is required. And now in recognition of the attorney's respectable presence, as if to catch Mr. Goldsmith's attention better, he introduced him to the subject of the talk. How smart Prabhupada is. He's the only educated person. And then Prabhupada says, I will give you a practical example of how things are misinterpreted. Just like our president. This is a art. This is an art a preacher should learn. He should preach, depending who's the audience, take example from there only. So, lawyer, so how Prabhupada takes the example of law? If you are, giving a class and they're doctors, then you have to give example which is connected to doctors so that they can understand better. If you are dealing with school teachers, then give example of school teachers. So that is preaching. Then you can easily connect with people. So Prabhupada says, just like our president. Now when did he become president? He would be also shocked. He says, just like our president. Mr. Goldsmith, he knows that expert lawyers by interpretation can do so many things. When I was in Calcutta, there was a rent tax passed by government and some expert lawyer changed the whole thing by his interpretation. The government had to reenact a whole law because of their purpose was foiled by the interpretation of this lawyer. So this is how material world. This is constitution, which is very non-constitutional. Because constitution means which will not change. The constitutional position of a jiva, it will never change. Sanatana, mame vamsha jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, it will never change. That is constitution. And how many amendments happen in every country's constitution? Recently, a few years back, this law came, GST, Goods and Service Tax. Prime Minister of our nation has to go and address the, chartered accountants that I know you can find out some interpretation and twist it. But I am requesting you, please do not do that. There is a basic flaw in Kali Yuga. There is a basic flaw. Then what is the rule? If you are making a rule and anyone can give interpretation and find loopholes, then what is the law? That's Kali Yuga. So we are now look what Prabhupada is saying. So we are not out for foiling the purpose of Krishna. Krishna has told Bhagavad Gita, but the followers of Bhagavad Gita should not foil the purpose of Krishna, for which Bhagavad Gita was spoken. But unauthorized persons are trying to foil the purpose of Krishna. Therefore, that is unauthorized. All right, Mr. Goldsmith, you can ask anything. Mr. Goldsmith stands. And to the surprise of the people gathered, he makes a short announcement asking for signers on an incorporation document for the Swami's new religious movement. You are giving class, you go to college, you call some people, 2-3 times they have come, 10 times they have come, and you tell, okay, sign. It needs surrender. These hippies, whatever, would have happened later with them, but they have surrendered to Prabhupada. It was in Juhu. Nobody was signing. Prabhupada signed the document and he wanted one more signing. And the devotee who was here, who was leading that time, he said, no, I will not sign because I'll get stuck in India. I want to go back to America. He didn't sign. Few devotees said no. Then Prabhupada said, call Brahmananda. And Brahmananda came with a sign. I just signed without reading. So that needs surrender. Prabhupada said, they are present here. You can take the addresses now. Mr. Goldsmith, I can take them now? Yes. Prabhupada, yes, you can. Bill, you can give your address. And Raphael, you can give yours. And Don, Roy, Mr. Green, you have to give address. I'm thinking whether, do they have an address also? That time, they're just, they're hippies. They don't have a permanent address. Sometimes stay here, sometimes here, but they have to give address. As the meeting breaks up, those called on to sign as trustees come forward, standing around in a little storefront, waiting to leaf curiously through the pages the lawyer had produced from his thin attaché, and to sign as he directs. Yet, not a soul among them is committed to Krishna consciousness. Nobody. Mr. Goldsmith meets his quota of signers, a handful of sympathizers with enough reverence towards the Swami to want to help him. The first trustees, he says, who will hold office for a year until the first annual meeting of the corporation. So now the first year trustees, Michael Grant, who puts down his name and address without even reading the document, Mike's girlfriend Jan, and James Green. No one seriously intends to undertake any formal duties as trustees of the religious society, but they are happy to help the Swami by signing his fledgling society into legal existence. So the first year trustees, Michael Grant, his girlfriend, and James Green. 3. According to law, a second group of trustees will assume office for the second year. They are Paul Gardiner, Roy, and Don. The trustees for the third year are Carl Jurgens, Bill Epstein, and Raphael. None of them know exactly what the half a dozen legal size type pages means, except that Swamiji is forming a society. So how Prabhupada had actually captured their heart, that they are ready to do anything. What if tomorrow Prabhupada, they don't know much about Swami. What if this Swamiji does some mischief with some legality, and then who will be behind the bars? These trustees. Swami is anyway the legal immigrant. Prabhupada's immigration that time was not clear. That has to be discussed. But see the faith. Imagine if someone from China comes, old man, speaks some little English in a Chinese accent, and he tells us to surrender. How many of us will surrender? It's easy to surrender to ISKCON because ISKCON is established. And we are in India only. But a foreign country? Someone coming from other nation, and that to third world? India was poorest, one of the poorest nation in the world that time. And some Swami is coming and they are surrendering. Who are surrendering? Americans. Look at Prabhupada, what he can do. Otherwise, today also if you see Americans, Europeans, they have this attitude of superiority complex. If you go to the East Europe, West is still more, open. London and Britain and all that. But East Europe, you can ask Adbhut Hariprabhu. He's from Eastern Europe. If any Asian goes, even a Chinese, they don't even look at you. They don't even smile at you. They don't even talk to you. Still going on. One Chinese devotee went, he was telling horrible. And China is like one of the superpowers in the world. Still they don't treat. So that kind of attitude people have, and they are surrendering. We have to think from their angle. इट्स नॉट कि ठीक है साइन कर, हो ट्रस्टी बन गया, मेरे को भी इस्कॉन का ट्रस्टी बनाएगा, अब भी साइन करता हूँ. Everyone will rush to sign if they are made trustees. Huh? But that time what was there? Huh? Today is trustee and that trustee is different. Na? You see from their angle. It's only responsibility. There is no money to pay for 26 Second Avenue. There is no money for the next month, $200. That is why they are great souls. Whatever happened and happened. But they surrendered. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was asked by one devotee, where would you like to leave your body? Mayapur, Puri or Vrindavan? And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Kurukshetra. I said, like, why our Gaudiya Acharyas, they go to Vrindavan, Mayapur and Puri. Why you want to go to Kurukshetra? A friend in need is a friend indeed. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, because Srimati Radharani needs support there. She is pulling the chariot of Krishna. So she needs more people. So I want to go there. Look at the mood of our acharyas. If you are thirsty, you want water, and someone gives you milk, it's useless. Milk will not, quench the thirst. If someone gives you paneer sabji, it will not help. You need water, you want water. And someone can give you water if you need. And Prabhupada needed these people and they surrendered. And that's why Prabhupada take care of them. Prabhupada would have taken, has taken care of them and will take care of them, whoever will surrender. And Krishna becomes so pleased with these devotees. Whatever happens, maybe, sometimes we hear that if someone has passed bad karmas, what Krishna does, he accumulates it, he just compresses them. So the result becomes little intensifies. The result is little intensified. And then Krishna dissolves that karma by giving pain. Finish. Today, any of a devotee, senior devotee or even any devotee needs help, he's walking, he's like skids, the water. 4 devotees will come and help him. That is needed. At that time, who was there with Prabhupada? Nobody. Except his Guru Maharaj and Krishna, nobody. And that's why Prabhupada says, Krishna sent all of you. He sent all of you. So that, if you see from their angle, then we'll understand that what faith means, what surrender means. Today, we are not at that level. At least for me, I can assure you that I'm not at that level. It's like, in Hindi they say ना, कहावत कि एक पैर दूसरा पैर उठाने से पहले पहला पैर रख दो. You keep your foot, then you raise. And Prabhupada is telling them to jump both the feet on the ground, above the ground. That's called surrender. You will not be able to do. It's not easy. Even if Krishna personally comes in his own Shama Sundar form, will not surrender. It's not about Krishna coming or Krishna's instructions coming or Krishna's devotees coming. It's whether we are ready. Narad Muni told that, come, I'll take you to Vaikuntha. People didn't go. Surrender is about us. It's not about Krishna or Guru. So we have to start. Maybe taking a baby step. Yeah, little surrender starts. Somewhere it has to start. All of other Vedic scriptures, if you see Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, everywhere. Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is told to surrender. Sarva dharman parityaja. Krishna doesn't give until unless you surrender. for tax exemption. So why Prabhupada is forming a society? That's what others thought, for tax exemption in case someone gives a big donation and others for other benefits an official religious society might receive. But these purposes hardly seem an urgent or even relevant to the present situation. Who is going to make a donation except maybe for Mr. Goldsmith who has money? You are forming a society for tax exemption. Who is giving donation? यहाँ तो $200 नहीं है रेंट भरने को. What we are talking about donation? But Prabhupada's vision was not that. Prabhupada is planning for the future, and he is planning for much more than just tax exemptions. He is trying to serve his spiritual predecessors and fulfill the scriptural prediction of a spiritual movement that is to flourish for 10,000 years in the midst of age of Kali. Within the vast Kali age, a period which is to last 432,000 years, the 1960s are but an insignificant moment. The Vedas describe that the time of the universe revolves through a cycle of 4 seasons or yugas, and Kali Yuga is the worst of time in which all the spiritual qualities of men diminish until humanity is finally reduced to bestial civilization, devoid of human decency. However, the Vedic literature foretells a golden age of spiritual life beginning after the advent of Lord Chaitanya and lasting for 10,000 years, an eddy that runs against the current of Kali Yuga. With a vision that soars off to the end of millennium and beyond, yet with his 2 feet solidly on the ground of 2nd Avenue, Prabhupada has begun an international society for Krishna consciousness. Haribo! And we can see Prabhupada's vision in just 55 years. Today ISKCON has become a global organization, and look, in 55 years. I mean, yes, in a way we want to do much more, but still you see where we are today. If Prabhupada wouldn't have registered, and people say Prabhupada registered, you have to understand why Prabhupada registered in America. Prabhupada tried in India, Indians were not interested. Prabhupada said, okay, I'll bring Americans and then you will take up Krishna consciousness. So it was Prabhupada's vision who to set up an organization, to incorporate organization which will give the shape for the future generations to come. But today we have direction. Today we know what to do. It's a well-formed organization. Now what is to be maintained is the spirit. Organization is there, spirit is there, but the spirit has to be maintained, as was given by founder Acharya. Now we'll discuss little bit about 7 purposes. We know by heart Shikshashtakam. How many of us know by heart 7 purposes of ISKCON? Every organization has a vision statement, a mission statement, a purpose. And Prabhupada has given the 7 purposes. These are the 7 purposes he actually wrote when he started League of Devotees in Jhansi. And here are 7 purposes. Very soon you will see 7 purposes written in temple. We are just working on that. Some things. It's amazing, no? Nowhere in any of the ISKCON temple you will find 7 purposes written. So we are doing here. So it's very important to, at least if not by heart, if not word to word, at least we know what are the 7 purposes. What are we supposed to do? I was talking to one senior devotee a few years back, and he was explaining what is the importance of reading Srila Prabhupada books. So we know, we read Prabhupada books, then we know what is our duty, we know what is our constitutional position, what we are supposed to do. We are not body, we are soul, this. He said, if you are a manager, what will you manage if you do not know what Prabhupada wants you to manage? Very interesting. Especially a person who's managing anything. Even if a sadhaka is managing his own life, how will he manage if he does not know what to manage? And that Prabhupada has given. So individually and collectively we have to achieve this 7 purposes. Because Prabhupada, when we read 7 purposes, you will see that it is individual and collective. So every one of us, if we have this copy, just go through. What are you doing to assist Srila Prabhupada in fulfilling these 7 purposes? And what you want to do, what you wish to do for these 7 purposes. The purposes stated within ISKCON's article of incorporation reveal Prabhupada's thinking. There were 7 points similar to those given in prospectus for the League of Devotees he formed in Jhansi in India in 1953. That attempt had been unsuccessful, yet his purposes remain unchanged. 7 purposes of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. First, to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all peoples in the technique of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. 4 points in this. To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge. We have to propagate spiritual knowledge. Prabhupada's idea of preaching, so many times Prabhupada used this word preaching. But Prabhupada's idea of preaching is not just to sermonize or just to give sermons. No, it's a Christian word. Just to give class. Preaching means surrender. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached all over South India. Krishna preached. And Satsaru Maharaj, right? See, Mahaprabhu had to preach. He put the effort. He's travelled on foot. Krishna has to preach Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is standing. So that means a preacher needs to surrender and put effort and go an extra mile. It's not easy. Preaching is not just giving classes. It's about how much you put effort to make sure that the people are becoming devotees. If someone just know how to give class but does not know how to manage, then how will he manage his audience? Suppose you know only to give class, so you have 10 people. Now they have started chanting 2 rounds, 3 rounds. So you say, okay, let us do some morning program, but you do not know their management skills. How will you manage the morning program? How will you engage them? So everything is required. So we need to learn that. So systematically propagate. Prabhupada thinks we have to go systematically. And if you read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, everything is so perfectly. When I first time read in my life Bhagavad Gita, I was amazed because I was preparing for MBA. I was amazed. What kind of presentation is this? Because in MBA, you know, you just work on the flow of presentation. You know, what should be the next slide? What should be the next line? How you phrase, rephrase, again rephrase. So many times you have to put the wording so that the presentation looks perfect. But it is never perfect. Because if I am imperfect, how can I give birth to something that is perfect? Huh? Until unless I repeat the words of Acharyas. But when I read Bhagavad Gita, I thought this is like, I was amazed. This is so perfect. The flow, you cannot even pull out one verse from Bhagavad Gita and see the meaning. You say, chalo, ek hata dete hai na. No. Or if you want to add anything, no, it's just tightly packed. Everything is just in a flow. Everything verse by verse is a flow. Even the formation of the verses. You know, if a verse has 4 lines, you see how they are put. What is first, that is why a student of Bhagavad Gita should try to understand. You don't have to, become a scholar or something. You just see that Krishna is putting these words. Why? Pray to Guru and Krishna. Make me understand. Why this flow? Why Karma Yoga came before Jnana Yoga? Why not Krishna spoke directly Bhakti Yoga first? So much of science goes behind that. So we have to understand Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita like that. That why Prabhupada writes You take one purport of Prabhupada, one purport, one page purport, and every line of Prabhupada you understand why Prabhupada has written that. That is, then you go understand the purpose. We say the mood and mission. It's not the words, it's the purpose why Prabhupada has written, what he's trying to say. It will be revealed. We'll understand, we'll put effort, because Prabhupada says, if Krishna sees a sincere sadhaka is putting effort to understand the scriptures, Krishna will help you. Prabhupada has given that assurance. Every statement in any of the purport of Prabhupada is actually a verse from somewhere. You take any purport, just read one line. You will see this is a verse from some of the scriptures. And then go to next line. This is another verse from some of the scriptures. That's called parampara. That is as it is. No interpretation, no addition, no deletion. As it is. So when we understand these things, we are convinced, and then we can convince others why Bhagavad Gita as it is the only Bhagavad Gita which can help the world. If I am not convinced, how can I convince others? Very important. So systematically propagate. So all our Vedic literatures are very systematic. Now we have to give them to people systematically. And what we have to propagate? Spiritual knowledge. To whom? To society at large. Why? To educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life. What will happen with that? It will check the imbalances of values in life. Now what has happened? Everywhere in the world you see imbalance. So that imbalance will be checked. That means progress of Kali will be checked. Kali, if any guru is trying to preach, Kali will try to stop that guru. But guru is powerful, Kali cannot do anything. Then Kali will try to distort the chelas. The job of Kali, can't help. And the chelas, the disciple who is pakka follower of his guru, he will be saved. And others, some will shake, some will dwindle, and some will be washed off. So if I am a disciple, I should make sure that I very strongly hold the lotus feet of Prabhupada or Guru Parampara. Otherwise, the current will keep coming and will be washed off. Second, to propagate. And even 7 purposes are in flow. Now once you do that, okay, to achieve real unity and peace in the world. To propagate a consciousness of Krishna as it is revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Consciousness of Krishna. We have to tell people about Krishna as it is revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, not with our own whims and fancies. People should become Krishna conscious. Third, to bring the members of society together. Now this is internal. To bring members of society together with each other and nearer to Krishna, the prime entity, thus to develop an idea within the members, humanity at large. Each soul is part and parcel of quality of Godhead. You see this fan. This fan has a central machine, engine, machine, axle, whatever you say. And it has 3 wings, blades. When the system comes together, then when it revolves, it is giving the cooling effect to the audience. So these wings are nothing but different living entities. They come nearer, Prabhupada is saying. Keeping Krishna in the center. If you just remove that central part, what will happen to the wings? What will happen to the blades? Just waste. Kabadi wale ko dena padega. So if we keep Krishna in center and revolve around, then that will become a strong, powerful machinery to extinguish the fire. Sansara dava nalarida loka. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava maha davagni nirvapanam. This davagni can be destroyed or extinguished if devotees come together, revolve around Krishna, keeping Krishna as center, that will become a powerful fan. It will blow off the fire. And if system is weak, then it will have a weaker effect on the society. And that's exactly Prabhupada says, purity is the force. To teach and encourage, fourth, to teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of God as revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's preaching, Sankirtan movement, Harinam, preaching, it goes on. And then what he says, now we have gone, the four purposes are achieved. Now erect the temples. To erect for members of society at large a holy place of transcendental pastime dedicated to personality of Krishna. These temples of Prabhupada, Krishna is in the center. So we have to build more temples. If Prabhupada said, ISKCON is like a spiritual hospital. And also he said, spiritual educational institute. So how many colleges, how many coachings, how many schools, how many hospitals, big, small are there, that many temples are required. Because those many hospitals and schools and education institutes are there to cater the needs of people. So those many centers are required to cater the spiritual needs of people. And as the temples will increase, the hospital will decrease. Why? Why it will happen? Look at the fifth purpose. Sixth purpose, to bring the member closer for the purpose of life, teaching a simpler and more natural way of life. So, you increase the temples and hospitals will go down. This is how these purposes are in flow. Education institute will also go down? Yes. The Gurukuls will come up. Somebody said, somebody sent a message. How many Gurukuls were there? At the time of independence, so many. Lakhs, 72,000. 72,000. Okay. 72,000 Gurukuls were there at the time of independence. And Prabhupada's, one of the qualities, Prabhupada was always proactive. He was not reactive. So we should be proactive in approaching. And all these six purposes, how to achieve and how to sustain, it's given in the seventh purpose. With a view towards achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books and other writings. So books are the basis. So all the four things, utility is the principle, books are the basis, purity is the force, preaching is the essence. Everything you can see. If we don't learn by heart, word to word, at least we should know what are the seven purposes. We should sit down. As Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, every Ekadashi we should introspect, we should meditate. How much I have, come closer to Krishna in last 14 days. So this is one of the things we can do. We can check our chanting, definitely, our reading, our surrender, and what are we doing for Srila Prabhupada. When Mahaprabhu was in anxiety, a very deep anxiety, he went to Haridas Thakur, "Oh Haridas, how the people of this world will be delivered?" And Haridas Thakur says, "Chinta na kari Prabhu, don't worry. By chanting the holy name, they will be delivered." How much Mahaprabhu is in anxiety. And if our father is in anxiety, we should be just sitting, doing nothing. That's not son. That's not an ideal son is. So all our Guru Parampara, they're in anxiety. How these people will be delivered? So we have to put proactive effort to reach out to people. So what am I doing in assisting Srila Prabhupada in these seven purposes? That's what our homework is, and a regular homework. Remember these seven purposes and let us introspect individually and collectively. That's what I said, individually and collectively. Every individual do, but there will be projects, there will be tasks which will be done collectively. I'll tell you one pastime, then we'll stop. So, in early days of ISKCON, You know, there were book distributors and they used to go out for Sankirtan and book distribution early in the morning, 6 o'clock. Because that time they will just wake up and chant and then go. There was no Mangala Arati and all things started later. So 6 o'clock they had to leave. So they eat some khichdi. So the kitchen devotees, they will cook khichdi and they will eat and they will go. They will come after 12 hours, 14 hours. So they need that food. So some of the members who were preaching, they were going out, collecting money. They thought, you know, we are superior. We are from a superior race. You know, everyone who preaches, you know, everyone who preaches should understand the other services are also helpful. Without that, the system will not work. If the vehicle is there, if the headlight will say, oh, I am powerful, I am giving the direction. The steering will say, no, I am actually giving the direction, I am moving the vehicle. The horn will say, until unless I will blow, I will make the sound, how will people move? And tire is ignored. So then tire goes on strike. What will happen if 4 wheels go on strike? You have to literally lift the car and go. So these devotees, they thought, we are from superior race, we are preachers. I watch these kitchen devotees, just making some, it's so easy job, anyone can do that. So once what happened, these kitchen devotees, they were hearing again and again, they got frustrated. So once morning, 4 o'clock, they left, all of them. They went for morning japa walk, out of temple. And 6 o'clock, all these preachers, Sankirtan devotees are ready, sitting in Prasadam hall. Where is Prasad? There is no Prasad. Why? There are no cooks. Why there are no cooks? They left. They are chanting. Then they realized what is the value of these devotees who are cooking khichdi, which you think is a simple khichdi, without that you cannot move. So every part in the machine is important. Every part. So everyone is important. No one is less important. Everyone has a flaw. Yes, the material world, we have flaw. If we are pure and we don't have any flaw, what are we doing here? Why Krishna has to come here if we are all perfect? So we have flaws. But with these flaws, we still are engaged. So rather than seeing someone is engaged, rather than seeing, oh, this is the flaw, but he is doing something. Whatever he can do. He is not pure, he is not perfect, but he is doing something. So that requires maturity of other devotee to see that. That requires maturity. To see, okay, something he is doing now. He is engaged in Krishna's service. And that will purify him. So that is important. Obviously training and all that will go on. Sometimes people say, like, there were sometimes envious people who meet Prabhupada. So they ask Prabhupada, are you pure? Prabhupada said, no. Even though Prabhupada is pure and perfect. Are you perfect? Prabhupada said, no, I am not perfect. But I am repeating the words of Acharyas. I am repeating the words of Krishna. Who is perfect? So the words I am repeating, they are perfect. Prabhupada is humble. You have to bring up, if people are like challenging, then better is to become humble. So today, I am not perfect. But I am able to do something. And every one of us. I means every one of us are able to do something. We may not be perfect. But just by doing, serving Krishna, gradually we will attain that perfection. And that is what Srila Prabhupada wants. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Incorporation Day ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
हरे कृष्ण. हरे कृष्णा. तो भक्तों, सब लोग ने सुना प्रभुपाद ने कैसे मूवमेंट की स्थापना किया और कौन है. उन प्रभु जी से बताएंगे, वो ट्रस्टी के नाम बताएंगे. वो जो इंग्लिश में आप लोग देखा है यहाँ पर, नॉट दिस इज ओनली वकील था, लेकिन वो ट्रस्टी कौन कौन ट्रस्टी दिए प्रभुपाद ने,
नॉट ट्रस्टी
उनके नाम फ्यूचर में प्रभुपाद ने क्या
वकील,
हाँ क्या नाम दिया फ्यूचर में उनको, वो सुनाइए.
हाँ भाई, ट्रस्टीज के नाम प्रभु जी बोल रहे हैं, ट्रस्टीज के नाम सुनाइए. तो ट्रस्टीज के नाम हैं, सबसे पहला नाम माइकल ग्रांट।
यस गुड।
आप स्पिरिचुअल नाम बताते जाइए ना, आपको पता है।
मुझे नहीं पता, बोलिए क्या है उधर।
माइकल ग्रांट वी नो, मुकुंद महाराज। देन माइक्स गर्लफ्रेंड जेम्स ग्रीन, ये पहले फर्स्ट ईयर ट्रस्टी। सेकेंड ईयर ट्रस्टी आर पॉल गार्डिनर, रॉय एंड डॉन। थर्ड ईयर ट्रस्टी आर कार्ल, बिल एंड रफेल। 9 ट्रस्टीज हैं।
माइकल ग्रांट तो मुकुंद।
हाँ, बाकी का मुझे पूरा पता नहीं है कुछ।
मुकुंद और कौन है?
देखना पड़ेगा, वो पूरा लीलामृत पढ़ेंगे तब किसको किसको याद होगा, अलग बात है, भूल जाते हैं।
बताइए इनको कौन है वो। ठीक है, बढ़िया है।
ठीक है प्रभु जी।
ओके, थैंक यू।
हाँ,
हनुमान प्रभु की जय।
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving inspiring class. जा पर कृपा शाम के हुए, ता पर कृपा करे सब कोई। जब शुद्ध भक्त, प्रभुपाद जी शुद्ध भक्त थे और प्रभु उनके साथ हमेशा थे, इसलिए भगवान कृष्ण साथ होने से अमेरिका के जो लोग थे, जितने भी हिप्पी भी थे और भारी भारी लोग थे, प्रभुपाद जी के चरणों में समर्पित हो गए, क्योंकि प्रभु उनके साथ में है। जैसे जब मक्खन होता है और वो मटके में होता है तो लोग उसे सर पे ले लेते हैं और चलते हैं, लेकिन जब वो खाली हो जाता है तो मटका फोड़ देते हैं और उसको कचरे के डब्बे में फेंक देते हैं। इसी प्रकार उस भक्त का वैल्यू होगा जिनके हृदय में प्रभु का वास है, जिनके हृदय में प्रभु का वास है। हरे कृष्ण।
जय। हरि बोल। श्रील प्रभुपाद की